As twilight descends over the bustling cities of the Ottoman Empire, the hidden stories of its most grueling and unrecognized jobs awaken. Join us as we weave through crowded streets, shadowed workshops, and dim-lit alleys to meet the souls who carried the empire's weight, the hardest workers whose toil shaped a civilization. Experience the textures, sounds, and scents of their daily lives, and discover the human heart behind the empire's grandeur. Before the sun peeks over the tiled rooftops of an Ottoman city, the world hums quietly in its sleep. But along the narrow alleys and wide stone plazas, the first stirrings of labor have already begun. Imagine stepping barefoot from a tiny wooden doorway, feeling the chill of worn, uneven stones pressing against your soles, a shock that clears even the last shreds of night from your mind. Every breath you take is rich with competing scents. Smoky tendrils from the first firewood kindled in distant bakeries, the earthy tang of mud and clay, and the salty hint of sweat already gathering under heavy headscarves and frayed tunics. You pass figures, hunched and moving quickly, baskets and bundles balanced with expert ease. Here is a porter, his palms calloused, adjusting the fraying rope across one shoulder. There, a street sweeper, her broom bristling loud against the stone as she stoops to collect debris left behind by yesterday's bustle. Occasionally, the low murmur of a fisherman floats on the breeze, words lost under the clatter of carts and the low, melodic prayers offered to the new day. Pause for a moment to notice the cold, the kind that seeps not only into skin, but into joints and bones, demanding movement just to stay warm. And yet, as the sky begins its slow transition from indigo to lavender, there's a subtle camaraderie threading through the hard work. Porters nod to each other, a silent encouragement. Broom and boot cross paths with a shared glance that says, "We are awake together. We begin again, together." Isn't it remarkable how, even in the humblest moments, people manage to build small communities of understanding? Just as early risers in today's cities greet one another with a quick smile at the coffee shop or passing train platform, so too did Ottoman workers find fellowship in those first hard hours of the day. Maybe your own mornings sometimes hold a similar rhythm. A shared wait in a parking lot, or a nod from a neighbor as you both collect the newspaper. Breath fogs in the early chill, rising and mixing with the swirl of morning chatter, the crackle of firewood, the scuff of sandals, the muffled laughter of friends bracing for a long shift. Everywhere there is purpose. The city itself seems to draw a deep breath, gathering its people and their steady willpower into the pulse of a new day. Can you picture yourself there? Feeling the rough bite of cold stone, smelling the hopeful promise of firewood smoke, and losing yourself for a moment in the sound of that, first, communal awakening? If you'd like to share a memory of your own early morning rituals or what brings you comfort at dawn, feel free to do so in the comments. Your gentle voice may bring warmth to another soul starting their day from somewhere far away. As the sun finally breaks the horizon, the Ottoman streets come fully alive. The harshness of dawn softened by the warmth of shared effort and the knowledge that no one begins alone. Let this communal spirit linger as you stroll onward. Your senses tuned to the stories and resilience that fill each awakening day. As dawn softens the skyline of an Ottoman city, the earliest stirrings are marked not by grand proclamations, but by the rhythmic sweep of brooms along stone streets. Imagine the coarse fibers of a broom straw, worn from years of use, brushing persistently over cold cobbles, dislodging the dust of countless footsteps and the remnants of the night's passing. The district scullery masters rise before many, shoulders bent and hands calloused, their movements steady and purposeful. They cleanse the arteries of the city, sweeping away the ashes of hearth fires, discarded husks, and the fine sands brought by the desert winds. The air holds the mingling smells of damp earth stirred beneath the bristles, and faint traces of wood smoke still lingering from early ovens. Each breath takes in the smell of stone, warmed gently by the morning sun, cool beneath the broom's touch before it greets the light. Street sweepers, much like the Janissaries or the market merchants, form the lifeblood of this sprawling metropolis, yet their labor often passes unnoticed. The gentle swish of bristles creates a comforting rhythm, a quiet song of renewal that hums beneath the city's bustling surface. Feel the roughness of broom straw between fingers, gritty and fibrous, grounding the sweeper in every deliberate gesture. Hear the unmistakable sound of straw scratching over granite, a steady companion to the slow awakening city. In these early hours, sweeping becomes more than cleaning. It is a ritual of care, a daily act of reclaiming order from chaos. This quiet dedication weaves community, even among those who toil in shadows. Perhaps you recall a morning walk through your own city, with the steady brush of a janitor's broom or the distant rustle of morning cleanup. It is a moment often overlooked, yet painted with the colors of resilience and consistency. Have you ever noticed these unseen helpers in your community? Or felt gratitude for someone whose work quietly shapes your daily comfort? If you'd like, feel free to share a brief thought or story about the unsung heroes around you in the comments. No pressure. Your memory and gratitude might lift someone else's spirit, just as these early risers quietly do each day. With the city now gently stirring into day, the sweeper's humble songs fade into the chorus, a quiet testament to the power of steady hands and watchful care. Let this rhythm carry you onward into the heart of Ottoman industry, where unseen grit meets the dreams of a grand empire. Before dawn breaks over the Ottoman city, the air pulses with a steady, unrelenting rhythm, the cadence of Janissary drummers beginning their endless practice. Imagine the taut skins of drums stretched tight, alive beneath strong, disciplined hands. The vibration hums through wood and skin, muscle and bone, a heartbeat echoing the city's own determination. Feel the strain in the arms of each drummer, the steady tension that builds as every strike sends ripples outward. Bodies move with precision, shaped by years of training to deliver a beat that commands attention, inspires awe, and enforces order. The sound is at once fierce and methodical, echoing through narrow alleyways and across broad public squares. The drum beats hold meaning far beyond music. They signal the rise of the empire's soldiers, marking the relentless rhythms of military life, the passage of time, and the discipline that ruled the barracks. These musicians are warriors themselves, their roles both demanding and unforgiving, bound by strict codes that dictate every movement, every note. Now picture yourself close to a giant kettle drum, fingertips grazing its taut surface, feeling the deep, reverberating hum melding with the distant call to prayer and the low murmur of an awakening city. The repeated boom, boom, boom pounds like a pulse, unwavering and persistent. Life as a Janissary musician, though glamorous to an outsider, was deeply arduous. Their days began before sunrise and ended in aching exhaustion. Rhythms repeated until muscle memory became their only guide. Unpredictability shadowed them. The threat of reassignment, criticism, or harsh discipline was constant. Their music was both weapon and signal, a reminder of the strict order and power that underpinned the empire. Have you ever relied on rhythm? Perhaps the beat of a favorite song, the soothing pulse of rain, or even the steady ticking of a clock, to find focus or calm during challenging moments. Sometimes, just a simple beat can steady the breath or lend courage when it's needed most. How do sounds or rhythms shape your own sense of discipline or motivation? If it feels right, share in the comments below. What sound or rhythm grounds you or signals readiness in your life? No pressure. Your story might bring a bit of calm or inspiration to someone else listening tonight. As the city stirs to the rhythm of the drums, let their steady pounding remind you of resilience, discipline, and the unseen strength that carries many through daily struggles. As morning light warms the ancient streets, the drum beats fade, but their echo remains, woven into the fabric of the Ottoman world, a testament to endurance and the quiet harmony beneath life's noise. Let this echo guide you onward, carrying the memory of every beat toward the next unfolding chapter. In the deep hush of the Ottoman night, when the latrine clamor of markets and workshops finally subsides, another kind of work quietly unfolds beneath the city's skin. Lantern light flickers dimly along winding alleys, barely illuminating the figures who move in silence, their faces covered and hands protected by rough, battered gloves. These are the latrine cleaners, rising as darkness closes in, not out of choice, but necessity. Breathe in and sense the heaviness of the air, the pungent, unavoidable smell of waste mingling with earth and damp stone. The odor is overwhelming at first, but softens over time, becoming a part of the city's living, breathing body. Each cleaner's first step inside the public latrines is always slow and deliberate. Gloved hands gripping wooden scrapers and buckets that feel heavier at this hour than at any other time of day. Their routine is simple, relentless, and strange in its own way. A repeated journey from shadowed stalls to waiting carts, each bucket tipped and emptied with a deep sloshing sound. Water drips in steady beats from leaking pipes, echoing off tile and stone, creating a rhythm that matches the quiet hush of careful feet and muffled voices. The smell is ever present, clinging to fabric and hair, trailing behind with every step outside. The work is despised by many, yet truly necessary. Without these steadfast hands, the streets and homes would quickly suffer. Sickness and discomfort would rule the nights and days alike. The cleaner's grit settles in every nook of their being. Grit from the dust and the job itself. Grit from the knowledge that their burdens are vital to those who might never know their names. Imagine for a moment pressing your palm into the rough grain of a leather glove, sweater slipping against your wrist, feeling not just sweat, but pride and resilience beneath the indignity. They work not for glory, but for quiet, stubborn survival, and the hope that a clean city means a safer one for their own families as well. Even today, the world is shaped by people doing work that is essential but barely noticed. Night custodians, garbage collectors, hospital cleaners, and many others. Just as in the Ottoman Empire, some tasks shield whole communities from harm, even when they bring little recognition or respect. Have you ever known a job, your own, or someone you love, that is tough but vital, sometimes overlooked, yet quietly heroic? Think of the people who keep streets clean, water running, or buildings lit at odd hours, often without thanks. If it feels right to you, Share any stories of these quiet heroes in the comments. Even a simple word may bring a spark of appreciation and connection. As the last bucket is tipped, gloves tossed aside, and the faintest blush of dawn creeps over rooftops, these workers fade back into the city, unseen and unsung. The quiet hum of their labor lingers long after the streets awaken, a gentle reminder that sometimes the strongest spirits dwell in overlooked shadows, sculpting the foundation of every safe, restful night. Let that spirit carry you gently forward as the city stretches and rises, welcoming the new day built on the resilience of its most invisible hands. As dusk surrenders to night across the Ottoman city, the glow of countless tiny flames begins to paint the streets. Imagine the bustling workshops where candle dippers and matchmakers labor through long hours, their hands raw and sticky from molten wax and pitch. The scent of warm, melting beeswax mingles with the resinous aroma of wood tar and smoke, wrapping around the workers like an invisible cloak. Their palms feel the slickness of forming candles, cool briefly when dipped, then sharply hot as they plunge again into glowing vats. Sticky, softened wax slips between fingers, smudging forearms and aged tunics with fragrant traces that linger long after the shift is done. Nearby, thin wooden sticks are coated in pitch and carefully laid to dry. The earliest matches, fragile and full of promise. Each brittle twig carries the weight of dark alleys soon to glow with life, of doorways waiting to be guarded with gentle light, of sacred ceremonies that depend on the steady flicker of new candles. Listen to the subtle crackle and pop as wax solidifies, the gentle hiss of cooling flames from lit candles ready for the market and the home. The workers move with practiced rhythm, undaunted by heat or the constant soot tracing their faces and clothing. Every breath takes in the warm hum of this nocturnal craft, voices murmuring guidance and quiet encouragement as the city dreams beneath a canopy of handmade stars. Their labor may be humble and often overlooked, yet it holds the power to brighten the empire's long nights, offering safety, comfort, and a little touch of magic where darkness might otherwise settle. Do you recall a time when a single small light brought you a sense of calm or courage in darkness? Maybe a bedside candle burning softly through a storm, or the glow of a fire under distant stars. What rituals or memories hold the gentle promise of light for you? If it feels right, you're warmly invited to share your story in the comments, a quiet reflection on what light means to you. No pressure, only kindness and gentle connection. As the molten wax flows and fragile matches rest on cool wooden trays, carry with you the warmth and care of these unseen hands, illuminating shadows, one tender flame at a time. Let the light linger as you drift softly onward, guided by the promise of another gentle story just beyond the next fold of night. Step quietly into the shadowed precincts of an Ottoman city as night settles like a velvet curtain. Here, in a place both feared and essential, the figure of the public executioner waits, a man bound to his grim duty, his presence casting a long and somber shadow over the bustling life beyond. Feel the cold steel in your hand, smooth and unforgiving, a weight that carries centuries of consequence. The air is heavy with stillness, each breath a measured pause before the inevitable. Around the scaffold, the murmurs hush into silence, the crowd drawing a collective breath as the moment draws near. The executioner wears no armor nor robes of honor. Instead, his garb is simple yet sturdy, fitting a man accustomed to toil rather than celebration. His hands, coarse and steady, caress the sharp edge of the blade with a practiced familiarity. This blade, both tool and symbol, embodies the gravitas of justice and the finality of fate. Long hours passed in solitude are punctuated by the solemn march to the scaffold, the echoing footsteps measured and unwavering. The executioner moves through the city with silent purpose, unseen by many, whispered about by most. The community regards him with a mix of dread, respect, and distance. There is a strange power in the air as the scaffold rises against the sky, a stark silhouette against flickering torches and the glow of gathered lanterns. Faces in the crowd are somber, eyes lowered or fixed with grim resolve. The chill of steel seems to permeate the atmosphere, seeping into the bones of all who witness. Imagine the sharpness of the blade reflected in the faint light, the anticipation lingering like a palpable weight. In these final moments, quiet prayers and whispered blessings intertwine with the somber silence, rituals that seek mercy, justice, and peace for soul and city alike. Though his role is feared and his presence marginalized, the executioner is a living thread in the fabric of law and order, a somber emblem of the empire's resolve. Like the city itself, he balances ancient tradition and the unforgiving demands of justice, bearing a burden few could comprehend. Have you ever been in a place or moment where silence held more power than words? Where the waiting seemed as heavy as the act to come? If a quiet memory or feeling of solemn stillness comes to mind, feel welcome to share it in the comments, only if you'd like. Your reflection could be a gentle light in this shared moment of pause. As the executioner's figure fades into the distance and the city exhales, the echo of his presence lingers, an enduring testament to the complex human stories woven through the Ottoman Empire's rise and rule. Let this quiet scene settle with you, a reminder of the shadows that stand alongside glory, and the solemn dignity found even in the hardest of tasks. With much of the city just beginning to stir above ground, the true work of survival has already begun, far below your feet. Picture yourself descending a narrow, winding stone stairway, the air steadily cooling and thickening as you go. Under the city's grand boulevards and bustling markets, a hidden labyrinth stretches, dark, damp, and vital. Here, in the depths, the sewer workers of Constantinople move with quiet resolve, carrying out a task that few ever notice, but upon which so many quietly depend. The musky scent of damp earth seeps into your lungs with every careful breath. There's a richness and weight to the underground air, a blend of old stone, clinging moisture, and something faintly metallic, perhaps from the trickle of water winding its way through darkened channels. The soundscape is minimalist but evocative, the steady, rhythmic drip of water echoing off curved brick, the low scraping of boots along rough stone, the occasional distant rush as waste is washed away by life-giving rain. Your fingertips brush against the walls, rough and uneven, beneath a thin sheen of condensation. In some patches, the stone is polished smooth by years of passing hands. In others, it is chipped and jagged, requiring a steady grip and constant vigilance. Every movement is deliberate, the path mapped by memory and necessity rather than sight. For the sewer workers, each day brings new hazards, sudden collapses, lurking fumes, and shifting ground that threatens to turn a path into a trap. Isolation is both a blessing and a burden. Down here, time slows, and there is no city noise, only the faint chorus from worlds above and below. The labor is not simply physical. It demands resilience, courage, and a deep sense of responsibility to people who may not realize how much their health and comfort depend on these silent caretakers. Have you ever thought about the jobs, often out of sight, that make a whole society work? Sometimes the most essential work is done in darkness and solitude, by those who keep water flowing, fires burning, and streets clean without applause or recognition. In your own life, have you come across someone working quietly behind the scenes, barely noticed but deeply essential? Or can you imagine what it would take to do this? Facing darkness and danger day after day, just to help everyone else live comfortably above. If you feel moved, only if it feels right to you, please share your reflections in the comments. What qualities do you imagine it takes to work underground, or in any job that isn't seen but keeps everything running? Your voice might honor the unseen and encourage a little more gratitude for the invisible hands that steady our world. As you climb back toward the morning light and the gentle warmth of waking day, let the memory of these shadowy tunnels linger. There is dignity in the darkness, strength in those who carry burdens far below the city's brightest streets, stitching health and safety together, one quiet, unseen step at a time. Let's walk onward, a little more aware and a little more thankful for the pillars beneath our ordinary days. In the cool dawn light of an Ottoman city, the streets begin to stir, not just with the footsteps of merchants and artisans, but with the clatter and shuffle of animals great and small. Imagine the rich tapestry of sounds, the low murmur of neighing, the soft snuffle of noses rooted in hay, the occasional spirited bray or quiet pacing of hooves on cobblestone. A figure moves steadily through the street, hands gripping worn, leather reins that feel rough yet steadfast beneath calloused fingers. The sensation is grounding, the steady pull of beasts trained to carry burdens, pull carts, or welcome visitors with a nod of their great heads. Nearby, piles of fresh straw stacked outside a stable send their earthy, dry hay scent swirling into the air. It mingles with the musk of well-kept animals and a faint trace of linseed oil from harness repair, blending into the city's morning breath. The street animal cleaners form an often unseen but essential community, tasked with managing the animals that threaded life through the urban expanse. They cleaned up after them, tending to the health hazards posed by waste left in bustling marketplaces and narrow alleys. Their labor was physical and demanding, scooping, hauling, scrubbing, yet vital to public health. As they work, the rhythmic clink of metal tools, the scrape of shovel on stone, and the subdued shouts exchanged with merchants create a familiar daily soundtrack. The leather reins bite into their palms, the sun heats their backs, and sweat beads at their temples, but the job anchors them on purpose. The animals themselves, from donkeys and mules to horses and oxen, showed both patience and power. The cleaners knew the unique personality of each beast, guiding and soothing them through crowded streets filled with shouting vendors, clanging bells, and coiling ropes. Reflect for a moment. Have you ever felt the steady comfort of a trusted animal, or known a connection forged in quiet moments with a creature's strength and gentleness? In our modern cities, too, animals play quiet yet critical roles. Service dogs, police horses, therapy animals, weaving kindness and aid into the fabric of daily life. Who in your community tends to the needs that often go unseen but keep life running smoothly? If it feels right, only if you'd like, share a story or thought about an animal or person in your life who offers steady comfort or unseen support. Your reflections, no matter how small, could brighten someone else's day here. As the city wakes fully around them and animals stir toward their daily tasks, the cleaner's work continues, forever woven into the pulse and heart of the city. With harnesses in hand and care in their stride, these guardians of public health remind us all. Sometimes, the gentlest strength comes paired with the humblest hands. Let this sense of quiet dedication and gentle companionship guide us into the next pages of daily life, where ordinary work becomes extraordinary in its impact and care. High above the crowded plaza, the air is crisp and carries a hint of dust and pine from distant hills. Imagine the touch of splintery wood beneath calloused hands, each grain and fiber a reminder of the careful balance between life and duty. The scaffold rises slowly, a patchwork of planks and beams laboriously hoisted by men who understand deeply the weight of their task. They work in the cool shade of lingering market stalls, distant hoofbeats echoing, and the gradual swell of a restless crowd gathering below for the day's solemn spectacle. Feel the rough texture of the wood against skin, the prickly edges softened only by years of handling. Every board placed is a step closer to constructing a stage that commands all eyes, a structure that embodies both fear and authority. The scaffold builders are artisans of a grim craft, balancing at dizzying heights to ensure the platform's strength and stability. They wear no armor, only the shield of skill and endurance, their muscles taut from hours spent navigating the tangled maze of ropes, nails, and planks under a watchful sky. From their vantage, the city spreads like a living mosaic, a sea of faces gazing upward, every moment charged with anticipation and unease. The builders know they're shaping more than wood. They're building the scene where justice is met, lessons are learned, and the empire's will is displayed with silent gravity. Listen to the steady cadence of hammer-striking wood, each sharp tap echoing through the plaza with a solemn, ritualistic rhythm, a heartbeat joined by dozens of others, signaling preparation for an event steeped in collective memory. Their work is watched, yes, but rarely noticed, each builder aware of their quiet role as an unseen pillar of a spectacle that mixes fear, order, and resolve. As you imagine placing your own foot on rough planks, balanced above the hum of hundreds of voices and countless gazes, have you ever considered what it feels like to occupy a space so loaded with responsibility? What is a place in your life that's held your attention as strongly as this scaffold holds the city's? Perhaps a stage before a crowd, a podium for sharing news, or a quiet corner where significant moments once took form. If it feels right to you, please share in the comments about a moment or place when you felt truly seen, or when your presence, however quiet, helped shape something larger, only if you wish. Your story might create a sense of kinship for someone else quietly listening tonight. As the scaffold nears completion, the city breathes with anticipation. The builders step away, leaving their silent handiwork as the foundation for the empire's grandest dramas. Let the memory of rough wood, the echoing hammer, and the hush of the crowd settle in your imagination, a gentle reminder that behind every moment of power, unseen hands have shaped the stage. The city awakens slowly beneath a rising sun, its colors and sounds blending into a tapestry of daily life. But before the streets flood with merchants and children's footsteps, another kind of rhythm marks the waking hours, the steady, heavy footsteps of Ottoman waste collectors. Feel the coarse grip of worn rope handles, rough against hands seasoned by years of relentless labor. The sacks and carts they pull are heavy, burdened with the city's discarded remnants. Waste borne from kitchens, workshops, and homes. The scents of refuse rise in waves, the acrid tang of spoiling food, the sharp bite of sour whey, mingling with the earthy musk of wet straw and leather. As these laborers navigate narrow, winding alleys, the sun climbs relentlessly overhead, battering their backs and drawing sweat from their brows. Their breath comes ragged, a steady rhythm of effort and resilience. The city seems to lean on their backs, each step laden with the weight of communal upkeep. Along the way, the sounds of clattering carts and scraping wheels mix with the occasional creak of wood and leather. The air hums with distant voices and the calls of early market vendors. Though often, the waste collectors work in shadows, unnoticed by the bustling crowd. In this challenging work, there is a quiet dignity, a commitment to the city's health and order as waste makes its inevitable journey from doorstep to dump. These collectors transform refuse into renewal, their toil crucial to the sprawling life of the Ottoman metropolis. Have you ever paused to consider the unseen efforts that keep your city clean and safe? The hands hidden behind the scenes that bear burdens so others might walk freely. If you feel comfortable, please share any stories of people you know in such roles, or reflections on the meaning of this essential work in the comments below. No pressure. Your words may help others appreciate the invisible labor that keeps our communities thriving. As the journey proceeds through sun-dappled alleys and shaded courtyards, let the strength and perseverance of the waste collectors echo in your heart, a gentle reminder of the unseen threads stitching together the fabric of any thriving community. Let's follow now, moving quietly with respect into the next story that fills these storied Ottoman streets. In the quiet stillness that blankets the Ottoman city at dawn, imagine stepping along a narrow path leading to the edge of a verdant cemetery. The air is cool and fresh, touched lightly by the fragrance of freshly picked herbs. Sage, rosemary, and lavender gathered in baskets ready for their sacred role. The soil beneath your feet is moist from the morning dew, rich and yielding under your touch. The grave digger moves with deliberate purpose, hands weathered and sure as they grasp the handle of a sturdy shovel. Feel the rough wood beneath fingers, calloused from years of steady labor. The weight of the iron blade as it turns cold earth with a rhythmic scrape. The dirt parts with a muted sound, soft and yet heavy with the weight of countless stories buried deep. The cemetery is a place both of sorrow and reverence, where life's final passage meets the tender care of hands every bit as human as those who walk the bustling streets above. Each grave opened is a solemn testament to mortality, a place where only the earth holds secrets and respect is carved in silence. The scent of herbs mingling with damp soil is sharp and bittersweet, a fragrant reminder that life and death are intertwined in an eternal dance. These herbs are not mere decoration. They carry prayers and protection, offered to soothe the souls resting beneath the earth and to comfort the mourners hoping for peace. Imagine the quiet solitude of the digger's task, moving through the cemetery rows as the sun rises slowly, casting long shadows between headstones, etched with Arabic and Ottoman Turkish script, names, dates, and prayers recalling lives once vibrant. The digger's work is more than physical. It is an act of reverence, a ritual that bridges the worlds of the living and the dead. Do you recall a place in your own life where the presence of mortality has made you pause or reflect? Perhaps a quiet cemetery visit, an endearing ritual for a loved one, or a moment of stillness that softened the bustle of daily life. The grave digger, though often unseen and unheralded, holds a sacred role, one of offering rest, of enabling remembrance, and of honoring the fragile boundary between here and beyond. If you feel inclined, please share in the comments below a memory or reflection on how you have encountered this quiet presence of mortality or ritual in your own life. Your gentle sharing might bring comfort or connection to others embarking on similar contemplations. As the shovel turns patiently through the earth, the day unfolds anew, and the cemetery remains a tender space, one marked by sacred duty, silent stories, and the timeless embrace of life's final rest. Imagine stepping away from the dust and commotion of the city, pushing open a set of intricate wooden doors to enter another world, a place where water, warmth, and relaxation deeply transform both body and spirit. You are welcomed into an Ottoman bath, a marvel of marble and light, where the air is balmy with gentle clouds of fragrant steam. Fingertips slide across the velvety smooth surface of heated marble benches, each slab radiating a gentle, embracing warmth, soothing away the chill and ache of a hard day's labor. The soundscape here is a symphony. Rhythmic splashes as water is ladled into basins, soft laughter echoing from tiled arches, and the quiet flow of conversation in languages shaped by centuries of empire. Fragrant oils linger on the air, rose, sandalwood, and citrus, each breath infused with the promise of comfort and ease. This atmosphere is a vivid contrast to the grit and grueling work of street cleaners and latrine laborers who just steps away bend beneath burdens most will never see. Bathers move slowly, wrapped in striped towels, savoring the gradual softening of tense muscles. As water trickles over skin, worries and dust of everyday life are washed clean, replaced by a mellow sense of care. Marble bowls, smooth and cool to the touch, are passed from hand to hand, filled with clear water and silky soap. Even the humblest visitor is enveloped in luxury, their hardships exchanged for a fleeting cocoon of warmth and community. Ottoman baths, known as hammams, were not just places to cleanse the body, but havens where social barriers momentarily dissolved. On any given day, market vendors, craftsmen, and merchants gathered, all equals in the steamy haze, sharing stories and laughter as their bodies absorbed the therapeutic balm of steam and scented oil. For context, a hammam, or Turkish bath, is a traditional public bathhouse that served as both a hygiene center and a social gathering place throughout the Ottoman Empire. Isn't there something deeply familiar in this blend of cleansing and camaraderie? Just as many people today find solace in a favorite spa, a steamy shower, or the simple joys of a community pool, Ottoman baths offered a sense of belonging that lingered long after the last drop of water was wiped away. The rituals of shared bathing rejuvenated more than just the body. They wrapped the tired heart in a gentle embrace. Can you recall a place where water, warmth, or community helped you shed not only physical exhaustion, but the emotional weight of stress? Perhaps a favorite bath at home, a swim with friends, or even the comfort of a cozy sauna. What brings you a sense of renewal or ease after a long day? If it feels right, you are welcome to share your own relaxing rituals in the comments. Your memory might offer another listener a path to their own quiet renewal tonight. As the lively chatter of bathers blends with the echo of splashing water, and silky oils linger gently on the air, let the essence of the hammam remind you even amid the hardest labor, there can be moments of pure, transcendent comfort, gathered in warmth, water, and the enduring presence of community care. Let the bath's peace travel with you as you step softly onward, holding its warmth close as a promise that comfort is always within reach, waiting in the simplest rituals of daily life. Step carefully into the bustling heart of an Ottoman tannery, where the air thickens with the rich, pungent scent of soaking hides and the sharp tang of lime. Imagine these dense aromas swirling around you, a complex mixture of earth, sweat, and the unmistakable musk of curing leather. Feel the coarse texture of wet hides beneath your fingertips as workers labor with practiced skill, scraping and stretching raw skins over wooden beams and stone tables. Each touch connects you to centuries of craft, where patience and expertise transform tough, unyielding animal skins into supple leather, silently destined for the world outside. Listen closely to the steady rhythm of scraping tools against hides, the rasping sound rising above the hum of conversation, and the distant calls of merchants echoing from vibrant markets nearby. The scrape is both repetitive and purposeful, a tactile song of transformation and renewal. Around you, ponds filled with tanning liquids bubble gently under sunlight that filters through open rooftops, casting flickering patterns on the surface of the water. The tanning liquid swirls with dissolved bark, smoke, and ash, each drop a secret ingredient lending strength and scent to the leather being crafted. Workers wear coarse aprons and gloves, but their hands are still stained with the colors and smells of their trade. The feeling of damp hides clinging to skin, the weight of soaked leather stretching tired muscles, and the cool touch of soaking vats create a sensory journey that's earthy and immersive. In Ottoman cities, leather was essential, crafted into everything from sturdy footwear and armor to intricate saddlebags and household goods. The tannery's work underpinned the empire's material wealth and daily life, though those who toiled here often lived at society's margins, their contributions rarely celebrated. Picture the smoky haze rising from the tannery, blending with the warm, spiced scents drifting from nearby bazaars, a tapestry of aroma that speaks of the city's vibrant, layered life. Just as today, the scent of leather can trigger memories of a favorite jacket, a treasured book cover, or well-worn boots, these scents carry stories, comfort, and connection across generations. Have you ever been calmed, comforted, or stirred by a scent so strong it carries you right back to a special moment or place? What objects or scents in your world hold that deep meaning for you? If it feels right, you are welcome to share your memory in the comments below, softly inviting others to connect through the senses. Let the earthy tang of the tannery, the scrape of tools, and the pulse of ancient craft linger with you as we continue onward, guided by the tales and textures of Ottoman life, each story shaping the fabric of the empire in its own unique way. Beneath the gently warming sun, Ottoman city markets awaken with the pulse of daily necessity, and at their heart, animal butchers quietly begin their solemn work. Step closer, and you'll hear the deep, rhythmic thud of cleavers meeting bone, a steady cadence echoing off stone walls and mingling with the low murmurs of merchants and early shoppers. Each strike is measured, practiced, the hands guiding it both powerful and careful, respecting the traditions and skills passed down through generations. Breathe in the sharp, vivid aroma of fresh spices, coriander, cumin, and black pepper, blended with the metallic tang of blood and the faint musk of straw bedding scattered across the stone floors. Scents rise with the morning air, enveloping you in the essence of livelihood and sustenance. The work area, though bustling, is clean and orderly. Butchers move briskly, bending over rough wooden blocks pitted from thousands of meals prepared beneath their heavy blades. Run your hand over those blocks. The wood feels sturdy and worn, a reassuring anchor in the center of chaos. Every groove and scar tells the story of countless animals transformed into food, of lives honored by careful preparation. The butchers greet regulars with gentle nods and somber glances. They treat the animals with a practiced calm, each gesture matter of fact, but never dismissive. This is a trade born of necessity, humility, and the quiet stewardship of a community's daily needs. At times, the butchers turn to a scattering of fresh herbs spread across the boards: parsley, mint, dill, crushing them between fingers to release fragrance, or pressing them into cuts of meat to balance the richness of fat and muscle. The spicy scent carries through the market, drawing customers and reassuring families that a meal full of care lies close at hand. Pause to imagine a modern echo in your own life. The familiar sound of a favorite chef's knife on a cutting board, the pleasure of grocery stores rich with choices, or the cozy scent of dinner cooking after a long day. Many today forget the real origins of their food, but the butcher's work is a bridge between farm and table, the link that upholds both tradition and survival. Have you ever been intrigued by the people who prepare your meals, or felt gratitude for the unseen efforts behind every nourishing bite? Is there a ritual or memory, perhaps a shared meal, a family holiday, or a visit to an old market, that reminds you of these humble guardians keeping communities alive? If you'd like to share your thoughts, no pressure, but your reflection might help someone, somewhere, appreciate the simple chain of care that connects us all. As you move past the butcher's stalls, the steady music of cleavers and spice follows you. The pulse of survival, compassion, and resilience passing quietly from one generation to the next. Let these sensations linger, grounding you in the present, while softly opening a window into a world where food is more than sustenance. It is community, care, and the gentle heartbeat of the city's life. Dawn breaks with a briny sharpness along the Ottoman shoreline, and the shipyards begin to echo with the steady, purposeful sounds of work. Imagine hauling heavy timbers across damp docks, the touch of splintery wood, rough and unpredictable beneath your palms. Even the strongest gloves can't always shield you from the occasional jab or scrape, a small badge of the immense labor poured into these vessels. The air is tangy with salt, every breath filled with a promise of open water and the distant scent of seaweed, tar, and freshly cut pine. As you move deeper into the yard, ship frames loom all around, their skeletons groaning beneath the tension of thick ropes and the weight of new planks. Listen to the rhythmic lapping of water against wood, a gentle backdrop to the sharper clang of hammers and the scrape of saws. Seabirds call high overhead, and the familiar creak of hulls shifting in their cradles serves as a subtle lullaby, an ever-present reminder that these laborers need the world's edge, halfway between city stone and boundless waves. Feel for a moment the sweat cooling on your skin, the unique mix of grit and ocean spray that settles on every surface and every face. The shipyard is alive with effort, as teams heave sails, line up masts, and guide enormous beams into place. Forearms tremble, backs bend, but a measured camaraderie softens the burden. Here, small jokes are traded over bundles of rope, and brief moments of rest become windows for stories to drift like the wind. The smell of salt lingers on rough hands and worn tunics. Timber dust floats in golden shafts of sunlight, caught for a moment before it settles into the cracks of dock planks and piles of spare ore. Every motion, lifting, tying, stacking, carries its own small ritual, a protective magic against the shipyard's endless demands. Can you picture yourself by the water's edge, breathing deeply as the ocean's air fills your chest, brushing rough knuckles against the grainy side of a hull, watching your reflection waver among ripples and tangled ropes? It's not so different from the way we all carry our loads, sometimes with strength, sometimes with help, and always with the hope of venturing further than before. Ships, after all, carry far more than cargo. Each is a tapestry of lives, of dreams, fears, whispered secrets, and longing goodbyes. As you listen or drift toward sleep, consider, what have you carried on journeys large or small that's left an imprint on your heart? Did something precious once travel with you? Or did you gently set aside a burden to make way for something new? If it feels right, only if you'd like, share in the comments about a journey or an object, real or symbolic, that you've carried or left behind. Your gentle reflection may inspire someone else to recall their own voyage, or simply to rest a little easier, knowing that we all set sail from shore, hearts laden with stories, hopeful as the tide. As the last timber is set, and the ship's bow kisses the open sea, may you feel the soft rocking of waves and the hush of the journey's beginning. Let every creak, every lapping sound remind you we are all laborers, travelers, and dreamers, moving lifelines that connect us across waters, anchored always by the gentle work of human hands. Before the city stirs fully awake, the streets hum with quiet activity. Imagine the worn leather of a satchel resting heavy against a vendor's side, its surface softened by years of movement and countless trades. The sun is still low, casting a gentle glow that warms the cool air, mingled with the rich scent of spices and fresh bread. With each step, the vendor navigates the crowded alleys, their voice rising in friendly calls, weaving through the early murmur of waking customers. Fresh cinnamon and cardamom, they might say, hot bread straight from the oven. Each word carries warmth and promise, drawing smiles and eager hands. The smell of toasted sesame mingles with doughy sweetness, while hints of sumac and saffron tint the air with distant desert landscapes. Fingers brush over fragrant bunches of herbs bundled with care, their green leaves cool and alive under the morning light. As the day unfolds, the rhythm intensifies. Voices rise, haggling blending with laughter, carts creaking beneath goods piled high, and the occasional clang of a brass coin tossed onto a wooden table. Vendors exchange quick stories, sharing nods of exhaustion and pride, their lives interwoven with the city's pulse. A loaf for you, friend. One might offer softly as the dusk deepens. May it warm your heart tonight. These simple connections are woven through the day's busy tapestry. Have you ever felt that pulse of morning life in your city? The gentle bustle of markets opening, the comfort of familiar voices calling out. If a memory or feeling comes to you, perhaps you might share it below. A gentle reflection appreciated by all. As twilight falls, the vendors pack their satchels, their day's work folded into the city's story, ready to rest and rise again with the coming dawn. Under the blazing Mediterranean sun, the city streets of the Ottoman Empire come alive with movement and heavy labor. Imagine the coarse grit of coal dust clinging to weathered hands, the rough texture of charred wood pressed against skin, and the relentless rhythm of footsteps on stone. The air is thick with the earthy smell of burning wood and mineral-rich coal, sharp and biting, yet oddly comforting, a scent that tells of warmth promised for the evening. Feel the heat pressing down, soaking clothing and skin alike, turning sweat into a constant companion. Early risers, these haulers begin their day when shadows are longest, hauling heavy bundles strapped onto backs or carts teetering with loads. Each load is a burden and a blessing, sustenance for the many hearths and furnaces scattered through the sprawling city. Hear the heavy breaths mingling with the steady creak of wooden wheels and the soft clatter of loose coal tumbling from sacks. The earth beneath is hard and sun-warmed, adding to the steady sense of weight carried by every muscle. Though the work is grueling and oft overlooked, these haulers form an essential backbone of the city's energy, turning the raw gifts of earth and forest into the fires that warm homes, cook meals, and light nights. Consider the hands that bear this labor, knotted with veins, calloused from tools and grit, hands that hold the city's heartbeat in their grasp. Such work is not unfamiliar even today. In modern cities, workers carry heavy loads under the sun's watchful eye. Our energy demands are as pressing as ever, though the sources may have changed. Perhaps in your own life, you know the weight of unacknowledged effort, or the quiet determination of those who keep the wheels turning. What is a task in your day or community that carries unseen energy, strength, or care? If you'd like to share, your reflection could light a quiet flame of gratitude here. As the sun arcs higher and the city's pulse quickens, the coal and firewood haulers continue their steady march, their strength unseen but vital, igniting the heart of the empire's daily life. As you meander through the bustling artisans' quarters of an Ottoman city, a new world opens. Here, colors aren't just seen, they are lived. Step through the arched doorways into the dyers' workshops, where bolts of linen and silk drape from ceiling beams, their hues shifting from shadowed indigo to the richest crimson under the filtered sun. Breathe deeply, and you'll encounter a medley of scents, the sharp tang of crushed herbs like madder and indigo, braided seamlessly with the mineral bite of alum and ash. At times, the air is heavy with vapor, a touch of acrid chemical from mordants simmering over low flames. These fragrances tell a story of both nature and alchemy, marking every fiber with the fingerprint of a dyer's labor. Feel the sensation of wet fabric between your fingers. Each length is cool, slick, and weighty, the fibers swollen with the memory of colored water. Dyers and apprentices move with expert care, tugging and twisting, rhythmically plunging the cloth into cauldrons of swirling hues. Listen to the satisfying plop as fabric meets the vat, the delicate slap as it is lifted, wrung, and re-immersed. Across the workshop, vats bubble with colors that look almost otherworldly. Deep lapis blue, drawn from indigo. Bold reds, coaxed from cochineal or madder root. Each batch is mixed and measured by hand, with recipes kept secret and skills passed quietly from parent to child. The artisan's hands, stained by dyes, tell of years spent shaping beauty from the raw. Pause to wonder, how might the story behind your favorite shirt or scarf add meaning to the touch and color you cherish? You may recall modern pocket handkerchiefs, tie-dyed festival shirts, or upholstery rich with color, echoes, perhaps, of these age-old crafts. Just as people today delight in the personal art of fabric painting and home sewing, Ottoman dyers took pride in the living spectrum they created, stitching color into the empire's very identity. Each finished bundle of cloth, now bright, resilient, and scented with a trace of its journey, will soon wrap bodies, swaddle infants, adorn homes, and carry the story of invisible hands through marketplaces and celebrations. Have you ever made or worn something dyed by hand, or felt a special connection to colors in your home or closet? What meaning have you found in the textiles beneath your fingertips? If it feels right, you're invited to share your thoughts or memories about dye, fabric, or color in the comments. No pressure. Your voice may add a new shade to the palette of stories gathered here tonight. As cloth is unfurled, colors ripple in the waning light, and a fresh wave of scent drifts by. Herby and sharp, vibrant and alive. Let this sense of creativity, patience, and color find you wherever you are, and carry you gently onward to the next hidden corner of the Ottoman world, where even the smallest hands can change the patterns and shades of daily life. In the soft glow of flickering candlelight, an Ottoman city square comes alive with an almost ghostly presence. Listen closely, and you'll hear the plaintive notes of melancholic strings rising above the hum of voices and the distant throb of city life. These are the songs of the blind musicians, souls guided by touch and memory, their music weaving stories in the listening night. Feel the smooth, worn wood of a well-loved instrument beneath searching fingers. The surface is polished by years of careful touch, each groove a silent witness to practice and performance alike. As bow meets string or fingers pluck a lute's heart, the sound unfurls, tender, mournful, and strangely comforting. Eyes closed or unseeing, the musician's entire world is contained in rippling melody, their senses attuned to each vibration and resonance. These musicians wander from shadowed alleys to grand plazas, filling every corner with sound that draws crowds, heals loneliness, and drops coins into humble cups. Their music is more than entertainment. It becomes a bridge across hardship, carrying the weight of poverty, but lifting the spirits of all who pause to listen. In moments when hunger or rejection threaten to overshadow hope, the gentle applause, the quiet appreciation of a simple listener, is a lifeline as vital as bread. Can you picture candlelight dancing across faces, the strings' song echoing between lantern-lit stones? The night grows softer as melodies float upward, their beauty coloring the darkness with longing and light. Do you ever find solace in music, especially in your own difficult moments? Maybe there's a song or a simple sound, a favorite lullaby, rain against a window, distant bells, that brings you peace or steady calm when you need it most. How does it feel to let music wrap around you, offering comfort or courage, even when words seem inadequate? If it feels right to you, you're welcome to share in the comments what song or sound has offered you comfort or calm through hardship. No pressure. Your memory or favorite tune might become a gentle balm for another listener tonight. As the last notes fade and the crowd disperses, the musician packs away their instrument, brushing tenderly over the wood once more. The city shifts and stirs, but the echo lingers, reminding all that even in darkness, the language of music can hold us safe, offer hope, and transform survival into grace. Let this melody stay with you as you journey forward, tuned to the sounds and silences that fill every corner of life, soothing minds and bridging hearts across time and place. Beneath the soft light filtering through clay-splattered windows, the potter begins her day with a simple act, reaching into a cool, damp mound of earth. Feel the yielding, almost creamy sensation as her fingertips sink into the slick surface, coaxing the clay to life. The air inside the workshop is fresh with the scent of rain-soaked earth and faintly mineral, an aroma that seems to settle the mind, grounding every breath in the moment. As the wheel begins its slow, patient spin, a gentle hum builds in the space, a steady, rhythmic turning that smooths away any sense of hurry. Each press of hand and palm shapes the world anew. Walls rise, curves deepen. The slip of wet clay beneath her touch is both soft and sure, alive with potential. The vessel takes form under confident movements, her hands slick and glistening, guiding the dance between gravity and imagination. Listen closely to the wheel's low, constant thrum, a sound as calming as a distant river or the whisper of a lullaby. Together with the faint drip of water onto the clay, it creates a meditative rhythm that soothes both maker and watcher alike. Earthen pots, fresh and unfinished, are arrayed on wooden boards nearby, their simple elegance holding on to the memory of every touch. Though her work is quiet, the potter's labor shapes the daily lives of many. Jars for oil, bowls for bread, pitchers for wine or water. Her artistry is humble yet essential. Each vessel a silent companion at family tables, festival feasts, and neighborhood markets. Isn't there something deeply comforting about shaping or holding a handmade object? Today, many find peace in molding clay, kneading bread, or even simply wrapping hands around a favorite mug. These simple, grounded tasks offer a quiet presence, a reminder of the beauty in gentle repetition. The potter's wheel, like so many tools of craft, spins both function and story. Each groove in a pot, each swirl rising up from its base, carries the history of hands, of moments spent caring, shaping, and dreaming for others. Have you ever shaped something with your hands? A dish, a poem, a garden bed, and felt it settle your mind, or anchor your spirit? If it feels right, only if you'd like, you're welcome to share a memory or reflection about craft and creation in the comments below. Your gentle words might inspire others to find calm in their own making. As the wheel slows and the morning light shifts, newly formed pots dry in the quiet warmth, a promise of nourishment, comfort, and continuity. The harmony of hand, heart, and earth lingers long after the wheel stops spinning, guiding us onward through the city's unfolding tapestry of labor and love. In the gentle stillness just before dawn, the air inside a modest Ottoman clinic is tenderly fragrant. Herbal concoctions steep on a small stove, releasing notes of mint, anise, and dried rose into the morning. Here, the practice of medicine is as much about harmony as it is about healing. Shelves line the low walls, crowded with jars of dried leaves, powders, and sticky resins, each one a promise distilled from Earth's silent generosity. A healer's touch is both sure and soft. You can almost feel the gentle warmth of skilled hands, steady as they check a pulse or rub a soothing balm into weary skin. Some hands are old, knuckles knotted with wisdom. Others are young, movements careful but eager to learn. Each movement is mindful, a ritual shaped by centuries of apprenticeship where knowledge passes not just through books, but through living, breathing presence. The clinic is calm, a woven mat for waiting, sunlight filtering through high windows, shadows flickering over pale faces and hopeful eyes. As patients arrive, soft voices murmur greetings and quiet blessings, the sound more melody than conversation. Listen as a healer speaks a gentle prayer in Arabic or Turkish, words that, for a moment, shield the patient with hope and trust. In the Ottoman Empire, practitioners often combined religious faith with traditional remedies, believing that healing was both a spiritual and physical journey. A cauldron simmers nearby, its brew thick and golden, promising warmth and strength. Other remedies are gentler, a handful of thyme tied in cheesecloth placed beneath a pillow, or rose water dabbed on a burning forehead. Sometimes, healing means the careful preparation of powders for wounds or mixtures of honey and herbs for colds. Other times, it is just the reassuring touch of a healer's palm pressed lightly to a shaking hand. The air is alive with scent, herbal, sweet, and medicinal, the olfactory signature of care itself. Outside, sunlight grows brighter, falling through a lattice and dappling the room with shifting shapes. The line between knowledge and nurture, science and spirit, memory and hope is blurred here. What truly heals? A measured dose of herbal tincture, or the unspoken vow of a caregiver to do no harm and offer comfort where they can? Have you ever found comfort in a remedy passed down through your family? A favorite tea for a sore throat, or the gentle pressure of a hand to your brow? There is an art to the smallest gestures, and so many childhood memories rest in the smell of soup simmering, a light touch on a sore shoulder, or quiet words whispered at bedtime. If it feels right to you, you are invited to share any story of a healer in your life, a cherished recipe or comfort, a gentle trick that brings peace when you're under the weather. No pressure at all. Your wisdom, simple or profound, may find its way to someone who needs it now. As afternoon approaches, the clinic's pace grows calm again. The scent of herbs fades as new patients arrive, and the rhythm of care continues. The harmony of healing, part science, part soul, moves through each room, a quiet, unwavering thread of comfort binding patients and caregivers alike. Let this sense of gentle reassurance travel with you, a balm for whatever burdens you carry, and an invitation to see the beauty in the balance of art and science, heart and hand. Step into a quiet workshop illuminated by the soft morning light filtering through lattice windows. Around you, spools of delicate yarns and soft blues, deep reds and earthy greens rest patiently, their colors vibrant beneath the gentle sun. The air carries a faint scent of freshly spun cotton mingled with the subtle fragrance of herbal dyes infused into each thread. Fingers reach out to touch the soft yarn, each strand smooth yet full of purpose, winding through hands skilled in the ancient art of weaving. The texture is inviting, cool against skin, as threads weave together to form cloth that will soon clothe city dwellers and adorn palace halls. There is a rhythmic sound, the steady beat of the shuttle gliding back and forth through the warp. Its motion is hypnotic, a steady pulse that weaves the fabric and the day alike. Listen as the threads click and hum, the subtle vibration, a lullaby of patience, skill, and endurance. Woven cloth stretches out across wooden frames, revealing patterns that speak of history, culture, and the quiet care embedded in every creation. Some fabrics are simple and practical. Others are intricately detailed, designed for ceremonies or gifts, their colors echoing symbolic meanings passed down through generations. Consider the weaver's hands, nimble and steady, each movement imbued with intention. Years of practice lend confidence and grace to every pass of the shuttle. The loom is not merely a tool, but a partner in a slow dance that shapes time and tradition. Shift your attention to the air. Notice the warm sweetness of dried chamomile tucked in a corner, blending with the herbs painting the threads. The space holds a quiet warmth, as though the hum of the loom carries contentment itself. In today's world, many find comfort in repetitive, mindful tasks. Knitting a scarf, folding laundry, or threading beads for jewelry. Such actions offer not just productivity, but a gentle meditation, a connection to something larger and enduring. Have you ever found yourself soothed by a quiet craft? Perhaps the feel of knitting needles in hand, or the glow of a sewing machine in soft light. If you feel drawn to share, we'd love to hear about what crafts or activities bring you calm and purpose. Your words may kindle solace for others seeking gentle connection. As the woven cloth grows beneath practiced hands, its fibers intertwine stories both ancient and new. Cloth not only of threads, but of human patience, care, and resilience. Let this rhythm of weaving take you forward, wrapped in fabric woven from the city's heart and the weaver's soul. As twilight deepens over the sprawling cityscape, the call to prayer begins to echo softly from minarets rising like sentinels against the dimming sky. The sound of the melad, a melodic summons flowing across rooftops and winding through narrow alleys, carries a serene invitation to rest and reflection. Feel the gentle hush that falls over the streets as voices join in rhythmic harmony. The blend of softness and strength, a balm to the weary soul. The silhouette of the minarets, dark against the fading light, frames the moment as the city's heart slows in unison. Breathe in the cool evening air, scented faintly with jasmine and distant cedarwood, mingling with the cool stone beneath your feet. The evening sky stretches wide, a curtain of stars beginning to shimmer as the world draws closer to night. Imagine standing in a quiet courtyard or on a balcony where the sound of the call swells and folds, comforting and commanding all at once. The repetition of the melodies, intertwining prayers and echoes, becomes a lullaby for a city preparing to rest. In Ottoman times, the call to prayer marked not just a religious duty, but a profound moment of communal pause, a shared breath amid the bustle of the empire. It shaped daily rhythms, reminding all that peace and faith were woven into the fabric of life, no matter one's station or struggle. Listen closely to the notes as they rise and fall. The timbre of voice carrying centuries of devotion and hope. The melody threads through the city's architecture, across tiled roofs, skipping over fountains, and resting lightly on the ears of those still awake. Think of the modern moments when sound calls you into stillness. A favorite song, the gentle crash of waves, the familiar tone of a loved one's voice. How do such sounds soothe or ground you, creating a space for calm? If you feel drawn, you might share what sounds of faith or ritual bring peace to your own life. Perhaps it's a morning bell, a song sung around a family table, or the quiet words whispered before sleep. And as you listen, let the city's call to prayer wrap around you like a gentle shawl, offering both comfort and strength. In these echoes, find the promise of rest, the embrace of community, and the quiet assurance that morning will come. How do sounds of faith and ritual shape your sense of peace? Share your story if you'd like. Let this melody carry you softly into sleep, a timeless chant of peace threading through the night sky, holding all who hear in its tender, unbroken circle. As we close this journey, Through the hidden lives of those who shaped the Ottoman Empire's cities, you're warmly invited, if it feels right, to share your thoughts or reflections below. Was there a particular story or sensory moment that brought you comfort or curiosity? Perhaps a memory of your own, or a quiet gratitude for the unseen work that supports our daily lives. There's absolutely no pressure, only an open space to connect and share kindness. Your words may gently inspire another listener to find peace and rest tonight.